Hello there, buttercups! The world had little need for Henry Every, or so it seemed. Born in 1659 in obscurity, likely near Plymouth, England, his early life remains shrouded in shadow, with few records to tell his tale. At a very young age, Henry started his sea career on unlicensed slave ships, before joining the Royal British Navy. The 9 Years' War raged from 1688 to 1697, where England and its allies fought against France. Every found himself tested in the crucible of naval combat, facing dangers he had never imagined. The roar of cannons, the splintering of wood, the cries of the wounded, these became the rhythms of his life, a constant reminder of the perilous world he inhabited. He moved up the ranks. However, in July of 1691, he fought in the Battle of Beachy Head against the French, a naval battle that ended disastrously for the English. On August 29th of that year, Henry Every was discharged from the Royal Navy, yet the sea's call was relentless and unyielding for Henry. He found himself drawn to the dark world of the Atlantic slave trade. He was employed by the Royal Governor of Bermuda to transport enslaved Africans from West Africa to the Americas. A grim trade, brutal and unforgiving, and one that hardened the man further, shaping him into someone unrecognizable. He gained a reputation for being devious and for his cruelty, a foreshadowing of the darkness that lay ahead, a darkness that would soon consume him entirely. The year was 1693. Europe still trembled from war, but opportunity, however bloody, beckoned. Spain, hungry to challenge French dominance, sought privateers, mercenaries of the sea. Henry Every, hardened by years of naval service and the slave trade, answered the call. He enlisted in the Spanish Expedition Shipping, a privateering venture with 4 warships aimed at crippling French trade in the Caribbean. However, delays plagued the expedition, and the crew went without pay for 6 months. When the expedition finally went underway, its sponsors refused to pay the crew for the 6 months of back wages. Morale plummeted, and resentment festered among the crew. Every, once a loyal sailor, found himself swept up in the tide of discontent. The seeds of mutiny were sown, watered by frustration and the allure of something more. The Spanish port of La Coruna, 1694. A bustling hub of maritime activity, it was a place where dreams of conquest and wealth were born and often died. The port, no longer a symbol of Spanish ambition, lay at anchor, a powder keg of unrest waiting to explode. Ships that once carried the hopes of an empire now harbored discontent and rebellion. On May 7, 1694, Henry Every, no longer content to be a pawn in a game of empires, seized his chance. The mutiny was swift and decisive. The crew, fueled by their own grievances and the promise of a better life, rallied behind Every. Every, a charismatic leader fueled by ambition and the resentment of his crew, easily wrestled control of the warship, Charles II. His leadership was unquestioned, his vision clear. Every renamed the ship to the Fancy. The die was cast and there was no turning back. Henry Every, once a sailor bound by duty and oaths, was now a pirate. He had cast off the shackles of his former life. He had embraced the life of an outlaw, a path fraught with danger and uncertainty, but one that offered the tantalizing possibility of escaping the life that had been chosen for him. The allure of freedom was too strong to resist. The Fancy, with Every at the helm, sailed out of La Coruna, not to fight for kings or countries, but for their own destiny. They were now masters of their fate, charting a course for adventure and fortune. With tales of Thomas Tew, an English pirate who succeeded in stealing enormous treasure in the Red Sea only a year earlier, Every convinced his fellow pirates to set sail for the Indian Ocean. The Cape Verde Islands, bathed in the golden light of the Atlantic sun, became the Fancy's first prey. 3 English merchant ships, laden with trade goods, fell victim to Every's newfound ruthlessness. It was a baptism by fire, a taste of the spoils that awaited those bold enough to seize them. Every, however, was not just a brute driven by greed. He understood the precarious nature of his newfound freedom. The world's navies, particularly the mighty English fleet, would stop at nothing to crush piracy. To survive, he needed to play a dangerous game of deception. From the Comoros Islands, a haven for pirates and traders alike, Every penned a letter. Addressed to all English sea captains, it was a masterpiece of duplicity. He proclaimed his allegiance to the crown, denying any intention of harming English ships. It was a lie, of course, but one crafted to buy him time, to lull his pursuers into a false sense of security. Terror in the Red Sea. Word reached every of a Mughal fleet laden with unimaginable treasures making its way from Mecca to India. Among them was the Gang-i-Sawai, the flagship, a vessel said to carry the riches of a king. It was a prize too tempting to resist, a chance for Evri and his crew to secure their place in the annals of piracy. The Red Sea, a narrow strip of water separating Africa from Arabia, became the stage for Evri's most audacious gamble. In August of 1695, near the coast of Yemen, the ships of Henry Evri and 5 other pirate captains, including Thomas Tew, lay in wait. Consisting of 25 ships, including the Gang-i-Sawai, the Mughal fleet, confident in its strength, sailed into the trap. What followed was a maelstrom of carnage. The pirates, outnumbered but not outmatched, fought with the fury of cornered wolves. Evri, a skilled tactician and a fearless leader, rallied his crew. The Gang-i-Sawai, despite its size and firepower, was no match for the pirates' ferocity. The Spoils of Infamy. The Gang-i-Sawai, once a symbol of Mughal might, lay crippled, a prize ripe for the taking. What followed was a scene of unimaginable brutality. The pirates, their bloodlust ignited by battle and the promise of riches, unleashed a reign of terror upon the survivors. Gold, silver, jewels, silks, spices. The treasures of the Mughal Empire were piled high on the decks of the Gang-i-Sawai. The haul was beyond Evri's wildest dreams, an amount worth in the hundreds of millions of pounds in today's money, making it the most lucrative pirate raid in history. But amidst the celebration, a darkness lingered. Stories of the pirates' barbarity, not only towards the men, but also towards the women, spread like wildfire. Passengers, both men and women, were subjected to unspeakable horrors of torture, rape, and murder. The name Henry Evri, once whispered in taverns as a tale of daring adventure, became synonymous with cruelty and savagery. A king's ransom. The news of the Gang-i-Sawai raid sent shockwaves across the globe. The Mughal emperor, outraged by the audacity of the attack and the violation of his people, demanded justice. England, eager to maintain trade relations and avoid a diplomatic crisis, found itself in a precarious position. A bounty, unprecedented in its size, was placed on Henry Evri's head. The first international manhunt was on, with every naval power in the world eager to claim the reward and the glory of bringing the notorious pirate to justice. Evri, aware that the net was closing in, sought refuge in the pirate haven of New Providence in the Bahamas. He bribed the corrupt governor, securing temporary safety for himself and his crew. But the world, it seemed, was no longer large enough to hide a pirate as notorious as Henry Evri. Whispers in the wind. The ship, its hold still laden with the stolen riches of the Mughal Empire, sailed into obscurity, disappearing into the vast uncharted waters. The crew, a motley collection of hardened sailors and ruthless cutthroats, had tasted the sweet nectar of fortune, only to be swallowed by the unforgiving sea. Some of Evri's crew were captured, their trials and executions serving as grim reminders of the price of piracy. The gallows stood as silent witnesses to their fate, but Henry Evri, the architect of the audacious raid, the pirate who had amassed a fortune beyond imagination, vanished without a trace. His disappearance sparked countless rumors and legends, each more fantastical than the last. Did he meet a violent end, his bones resting somewhere beneath the waves, claimed by the very sea he once ruled? Or did he live out his days in quiet anonymity, haunted by the ghosts of his past, in a secluded corner of the world? The truth, lost to the mists of time, continues to fascinate and frustrate historians to this day. Each new discovery only adds to the enigma. Whispers of his exploits, tales passed down through generations of sailors and storytellers, paint a picture of a complex figure, a skilled sailor, a ruthless pirate, a master of deception. His legend grows with each retelling. Henry Evri, the pirate king who vanished, remains an enigma. His story a testament to the intoxicating power of cruelty and greed, and the enduring mystery of the sea. His name, whispered in the wind, continues to captivate the imagination of all who hear it.
Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like to know and hear your feedback, And if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get early access to our videos, and where we post bonus material. Till next time, this is Geeky Tidbits saying cheers and have a good day.